Hey folks, I am Kevin Ioli and welcome to Yahoo Sports, and my guest now is going to be in the main event of the next big UFC fight card, UFC 258 on February 13th at Apex in Las Vegas. The challenger for the welterweight championship of the world, Gilbert Burns. Gilbert, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you as well. Last time we talked, you had just gotten done with a long drive across the country. Thought you were going to have a fight that kind of fell through. I imagine things are a lot better now than they were then when your fight with Kamaru Usman fell through last time.
Yeah, now things now are way better. That time was a rough one, very tough one to swallow, but I tried to get things positive, even that I just lost a title shot. I got COVID. I was sick for a little while, get the drive back. But I believe that everything happened for a reason. And now it's easier to believe that happened for a reason because I felt better. I think I improved so much on that meantime. Feel stronger, feel very healthy, and excited. A couple more weeks to be fighting for the title, and feeling great.
Kamaru had when you had to pull out of the fight, Kamaru went forward and he ended up fighting George Masvidal. And I'm wondering what you thought of his performance. You know, Masvidal took the fight on short notice, so we have to kind of keep that in mind. But Kamaru, I thought, looked really good in the fight and looked like a handful. And I'm curious your thought. What did you think of the way Kamaru handled George Masvidal?
I think he handled very good. I think he was very disciplined with a lot of things. Changing an opponent is always tough, you know. For sure, he was looking for a shorter guy with quick hands, the game that he knows so much. You know, a lot of grappling, a lot of wrestling, and he changed. You know, now he's getting a striker that's a little bit more, let's say, a little bit more dangerous only on the feet, and he did what he had to do. You know, took him down very quickly, controlled the fight, and we did a lot of cage work. And I even saw the why, you know, because first when he took Masvidal down, Masvidal was scrambling so much, it made it so hard for him to get a good pressure on top. That was a little bit more safe, and we're not making super tight working on the cage, and Kamaru did that very good. I think he was very disciplined. Fight was a little boring. I kind of expect that because Kamaru is very disciplined when he fights. But I think he did a great job.
How much did you guys spar over the years? Like, are you really familiar with each other?
Yeah, we sparred so many times. First time that I saw Kamaru was 2012. And we always been training a lot. You know, I always looking for him. He always looked for me because we know it's a good training. We always give each other a good look. Yeah, we had like 80 years, almost 70 to 80 years training a lot. Not every single day I was with Kamaru for sure because sometimes he got a fight and the guy was look like me, so right. That can't be. He didn't work with me. Me the same. Sometimes I was fighting in Southpaw. It was nothing look like Kamaru. But on between, for sure, we got over 200 sparring sessions, for sure, 200 rounds at least. We got with each other, a lot of grappling, so we're very familiar with each other.
So you're staying to train in Florida. He went to Colorado. How did you guys determine that? I know you're friends, so how did you determine who got to stay and who had to go elsewhere?
That was determined even before me getting the title shot because he's playing. With that fight with Kobe, he wants to leave in the middle of that camp. He ended up staying, but I even talked to him a lot on that, and then he said his next camp will be on Colorado. He wants to go there. More attention. He has one of our former teammates there, Carrington Banks. He got a good relationship with Trevor Whitman, Justin Gaethje, and he said he want to go there anyways. And he supposed to fight Masvidal for that to the next fight after Kobe, but then Jorge get all the fighting with the UFC for a better contract, and then the fight never happened. In the meantime, I knocked out Damian Maia, then I beat Woodley. I had for the title, UFC gave it to me, but he was going anyways. Me getting the fight, the title shot just make that transition for him a little quicker, but he had that plan already.
Gilbert, I wonder. I mean, I think your style matchup. If you were guys that did not know each other, I'd say, boy, this style matchup's going to be interesting, right? And I really like it. But I wonder if it's going to be difficult because he knows your best moves and you know his best moves. And so are we going to be at a stalemate or what happens? Like, how do we get a good fight out of this when you guys know each other so well?
We know each other so well, but it's been over more than 6 months that we're not training together, that he's there, we travel with me. I believe he's putting a little bit more new tools on his toolbox, so am I. And even knowing each other, the sport that we had, the grappling exchange that we had was always fun to watch, and I believe it still be because I'm not gonna be a Kobe Covington that just gonna strike you with any one of my opponents. I'm gonna grapple with every single one, and I'm gonna strike with every single one. So I just see it's not gonna be easy for either guy, but I see a war and both guys hammering like we did at the training, at the multiple times at the training room, and then I just see a war and I'm excited and I cannot wait for that fight. But I see it's gonna, even that we know each other a lot, we're not gonna back down. Both are gonna collide in the middle. We're gonna wrestle. We're gonna grapple. We're gonna do cage. We're gonna do a lot of things, and I'm super excited about that.
I wonder how you look at this. You had been so busy, I think, from the end of September of 19 into May. You had 3 fights. If you even go back more, you had one in August of 19. And then you get that break. So you were on that roll, and it seemed like good. If you had it to do the way you wanted, would you want it to be, have done it before, or do you think this break will have done you some good?
The way I want it, I wish I had a fight in July, but after the COVID, I got sick. It was a tough one to recover. If I could pick, I was fighting November 21st when the fight was offered first. But sometimes not. A lot of times things doesn't happen the way we want, and it's just life. And like you said, I was too busy. I as soon as I decided to move up, UFC gave me a short notice 2 weeks in Uruguay. That was August 10, 11, if I'm not wrong. And then boom, went to Uruguay, got that done, got back, won like 5 days off, got back in the G. Not even 4 weeks after that, they called me again to fight Gunnar Nelson. That fight with the Russian was August 10, if I'm not wrong. With the Gunnar Nelson was the end of September.
Right, correct.
Within not even 2 months, they got 2 fights. And then I grappled a lot in between. I had so many grappling fights in 2019. And then I got in 2020 with the fight with Damian Maia. It was the only fight that I got a full camp. Beat Damian Maia. And then pandemic hits. That fight was the first one with no public. Got back to the US. And then I made a lot of noise with that fight with the Woodley. So the fight was about to happen. So I got back to a 3 weeks camp to do a 5 week training camp. And the fight took so long to get done, but I was training, I was getting better. Who got the fight with the Woodley. After the fight, asked for the title shot, they gave me the title shot. So I have, sorry, you just got a call right here. You back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So after that fight with Maya, I was back, boom, right on training. And no break. Got the Woodley fight, got the title shot after the Woodley fight. Back on training again. So even my doctor said, bro, you did so many fights, so many camp, and back to back in July, I already had 2 fights, and I was going to my next fight. And first 2 fight rounds that I ever had in my life, back to back, he said, your immunity system came down, that's why you got COVID. So then I had to stop, got everything back again, get healthy, got back training. I got a couple of grappling matches. UFC said, no, we're not going to risk. You cannot grapple. So that was a little thing that bothered me a little bit at the beginning, but I understand, I cannot get hurt doing a freaking grappling match. And the good thing was that I put a lot of, for me, I have my bigger goals, but I got to have small goals in between, to keep me going, keep me working. And I sit down with the coach and we say, you know what? I need to have a little goal. So what can we do? And say, we're gonna wrestle a lot. Your wrestling has to be better. Couple things that we need to get better. And then that was my okay. This whole month we're gonna wrestle. Next month we're gonna box. And then I made those small goals to keep me very busy, and I like it. And then that was very good for my body because I was beating my body up.
Right.
So that break was good for recovering my body and to focus on a lot of little things that if I kept fighting, I think I wouldn't have the time to take a closer look and get better. And that was exactly what I did. And I think the Gilbert Burns that's fighting Kamaru Usman on February 13th, it's way better than the Gilbert that fought Woodard, that fought Maya, that did fight in 2019-20. I think I'm leveling up a lot of my every single area of my game.
You have fought in both the 25 and 30-foot cage in back-to-back fights, right? So you've been in the smaller cage, you've been in the bigger cage. Which one suits your style better, the smaller one or the bigger one? You're going to be in the smaller one for UFC 258.
I love it. If I could pick, if it was mine, I'll pick the small one all day against anyone just to keep the action all every single time, chaos, scrambles, and that's what I love. That if it was me, if I was Dana White, it will be always the small cage because I wanna. Me as a fighter, I want the chaos, and me as a fan, I want to see the chaos too.
I wonder if you can talk to this. A lot of people that I have talked to about Kamaru talk about, you've only seen a little bit of how good he is, that, he has more to his game than he's shown. And specifically, one of the things people say is he has unbelievable kicks and that his kicks are really good, but because of injuries, maybe he hasn't shown that so much. Have you seen that in camp where you work with him and you know how good his kicks are?
He's good everywhere. He got good kicks. He doesn't kick a lot because of his injuries on his knees, but he can kick. But I think he developed a lot of things without kicking so much. He kicks, and I know he started so much and he studied so much. He kicks more too when the guy's southpaw. Then he kicks a lot more, a lot of push kicks. But I think he's a high level fighter that he can kick. He throw good knees. He throw elbows. He can grapple. He can wrestle. He can strike. He can box. And people kind of underestimate that a lot. People, your strike is way better. And then I'm like, man, training that guy so much. I know his strike. He's good. He does hit hard. And I'm not underestimating Kamaru in any area. I know how good he is, and I'm prepared for that.
Do you have to get yourself in a certain mind space to fight a friend, where this isn't a sparring match, this is for the world championship? I know you don't hate anybody you fight, but when you're fighting somebody you don't know, maybe it's a little different to punch them in the face or drop an elbow on them than it is when it's your buddy that you've trained with for a number of years. So how do you get ready for that? I know it happens in other sports. It doesn't happen as much in MMA maybe, but how do you get ready for that so that you get in the mind space you need to be in to do what you have to do to win the title?
It was a little complicated. First, it was with Damian Maia, because that was always a friend of mine, a guy that I like. I never trained with him, but we used to go to the same jiu-jitsu tournament, so I saw Damian a couple of times. We'd be on the same mats. As the BJJ time back in the days, and then we were on the same mats. He was a higher belt than me. I always respect that, and I always cheer for Damian. But when I had to fight Damian, that was the first time that I kind of had to put that aside. And like you said, I don't hate nobody that I fight, and I don't love no one that I fight as well. So when I get there, if we set to fight, if we sign that contract, I get on the octagon, we fight. It's different than training, it's different than everything. And then I got, to be honest, I don't have a lot of feelings when I go to the octagon. And I said there's only one guy that I don't fight at 170 at the welterweight division is Vicente Luque, because he is a brother of mine. He comes to my house. He lives right here. I went to Brazil. I stayed in his house. We trained together. And that's the only guy at 170 that I would never fight. But besides that, I'll fight anyone. And I have no feeling. Kamaru, We used to train together. We used to be very close. Thank God we're not training together anymore. He went to another place, and
Right.
that makes things way easier.
Right.
I have that competition inside of me. As soon as I get on the octagon, I want to beat the guy. I want to knock him out. I want to submit the guy. I want to finish the guy. And that with that competition in me, I think it helps me getting ready to fight a guy that I like. And then when the octagon door closes, it's all business. I want to finish the guy that is in front of me. I don't want to just win. I want to finish the guy that's in front of me. If I cannot finish, then I go for domination. But for me, it's getting simple and simple because I have no feelings, no hate.
Right.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission when I'm there. If you sign it, you know where you're signing, so I'm coming for it.
I'm not signing with you, pal. Believe me, only good things. Hey, let's end on this. You were fighting at lightweight, and you were just a guy in the division, right? I mean, a good fighter, but you certainly were not looked at as a title contender when you were at lightweight. You moved up to welterweight, and it changed your career. And I wonder about your brother Herbert. And have you guys talked about, do you think Herbert has the ability to do what you did? To kind of get turned around, and he's a good fighter now. Does he have that ability to turn and make and be a great fighter?
Well, we talking about that. He was just in Fight Island. He cornered Nick Lentz right there. He was there helping Michael Chelichu. I think he's coming back tonight. We were in the middle of that conversation, figuring that thing out because it was always hard for him to make it 45. He even competed at ADCC a couple of times at 145, but was always hard for him to make the weight, and now it's getting even harder because he's over 30s. So we're in the middle of that conversation right now. Try to see if he can be a little bit more professional, more focused on the weight, see if he keep the weight down. If not, he's gonna move up. But we're figuring things out because in a lot of ways we're very different. We are the same blood, but we're very, very different. So.
You're far more outgoing than he is. I know that.
What?
You're more outgoing than he is.
Yeah, way more. Craig. A lot more. And but that's the thing. I don't want to say that was perfect with me. Do it because we're very different. So we're talking. We see my nutritionist, with the strength and conditioning, see what we're gonna do. With him, he's kind of taking a lot of time trying to get better on his strike and do a lot of things. But we're figuring that out. After that fight, I'll be able to have more time before he have that conversation.
Awesome. This young man, Gilbert Burns, you will see him on February 13th in Las Vegas, UFC 258. He will be fighting Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title. Gilbert, always good to see you. Always good to talk to you. Best of luck to you. Thank you for joining me.
For sure. Thank you, Kevin. Have a good one, man.
You well, brother. See you.